Welcome to Positive Outcomes, where leaders turn hard-won experience into income, impact, and freedom.
Hello,
Awesome.
hello, everyone. Super excited for this episode. We are here today with an amazing individuals. It's a lot. I'm going to talk about her. I'm very impressed. And I told her pre-recording that she is just the perfect person for us to talk about on the show. So welcome to Positive Outcomes, where professionals and leaders they turn their expertise into income, impact, and freedom. And of course, my name is Doreen. I am the host for tonight. Today's guest is amazing, guys. So take your paper, take your pen, get comfortable because we're going to have a lot to learn. Superwoman here, okay? Today's guest, Arika, is an innovative millennial leader based in Chicago, dedicated to advancing post-secondary access, workforce development, and workplace success through her work in education and nonprofit sectors. Okay, those two things are hard to find. That's what I'm saying tonight. Okay, guys. When she's not leading initiatives by day, of course, she's spending time with her brave, beautiful, handsome, amazing 6-year-old son, Zion. Erica writes topics that centers and celebrate the Black culture. She holds a BA in arts management, an MA in journalism, and a certificate in organizational leadership from Harvard Business School. Very impressive, right? Hold on,
you.
guys. Hold on. We're coming, guys. I told you guys, her contributions have earned her numerous accolades, including the 2025 Chicago Urban League Young and Ambition Award, the 2023 UNCF Chicago Millennial Mastermind Honor, the 2022 Young Women Professional League 40 Under 40, some more, and 2018 NBA Chicago Sky Redefine Possible Award. I told you guys, take your papers out,
Oh my
share
goodness.
and share and share so we can learn. That's the whole purpose of positive outcome, how we use our expertise to impact our community, to impact people. Community, I just said community, right? Listen to this. Community is central to her life. She serves on the board of South Holland Little League, founded Black Momma Dreams. I want to be part of that dream club.
Yeah.
Which is a scholarship supporting mothers of color and is an active member of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Inc. Yay, guys! Amazing. Half of my family is her sisters.
Love it.
Earlier this year, she released her book, guys.
Yeah.
Guess what? From everything I said, it just goes with the name of her book.
I love that.
Creative Disruption. Amazing. 7 effective strategies for millennials to lead in workplace. This received amazing reviews, and I cannot wait to get my own copy and read it and share my own reviews. And just prior to that, she delivered a TEDx talk to her alma mater, Columbia College in Chicago, further cementing her voice as a leading advocate for millennial leadership and workplace innovation. Let's do a drum roll! Erica, you are welcome to Positive Outcomes.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be, I really am. I'm honored to be here and to be thought of to join in your space. So I'm very honored to be here. So
I am
thank you
just
for
looking at you
thinking
and
of me.
smiling because this is just amazing. This
You
is why we are
know,
here.
this, and sometimes, when you sit and you hear someone else read the things that you have accomplished or are accomplishing, because when you're doing it, you're there, you're present for the celebrations, but in the moments that the celebrations aren't, you're like, okay, what is happening? What's going on? And so I am just happy that you thought enough of me to reach out and to set this up because you felt like I had something to offer this
Of
space. So
course.
thank you.
Of course. And I think that Here, we just want people to come here and listen to experts and how they've used their expertise to impact community and lives and
Mhm.
teach people and use it. So you were just a perfect. I'm like, I got to get her to this show.
Oh,
So
thank
thank you.
you.
So I think we're gonna have an amazing conversation tonight, guys. Like I told you guys. So Erica, let's start with what first drew you into the world of education and nonprofit.
You know, for as long as it's so funny because I've been sitting in that, but for as long as I can remember, my dream when I was little, when they say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? My dream when I was little was to be a teacher. It was to be a kindergarten teacher or eighth grade teacher because I loved graduations. And so I love the idea of planning activities and celebrations for kids. I've always loved kids. And so, yeah, that was forever my dream. I come from a family of educators on both sides of my family. And so I grew up seeing the importance of what you do, how you serve and how you're there. Just coming from serving leaders, a family of servant leaders. And so that dream, I want to say, was until I got to college. And then I immersed myself into the arts and creative culture and that shifted. But what is true for my life, which is what I've heard so many people say, is who you are at the root of it, no matter how many turns, twists and turns your life takes, you always return to your center. And so for me, it was education. I never thought, especially once I got to college and the way I thought my life was going to go, I had written education off as a whole. Like, I'm not getting into this. I want to do something far more exciting and entertaining and things like that. But when you are rooted and grounded in and present in what's
Mm,
happening in your life,
mm,
and you surrender to what's happening. It started for me through mentorship, through volunteering. And from that, just doors and people speaking my name, whether it was my mom speaking my name to a principal to say, hey, you should take a chance on my daughter. Or if it was a mentor speaking my name in a room that I didn't even know, my
wow.
qualifications didn't have me privy to, but someone was always speaking my name. And so I am grateful for
Mm,
that. And so, yeah, education has always been the center. And so it also was a vehicle through, how I got to nonprofit education. Also, something I did in my life is just a ripple effect of
mm,
blessings. It really is because, no, it really is because nonprofit education, even when I finally gave in and surrendered to say, okay, maybe education is going to be the thing, then it was so many changes because I got into it in 2017. And so, when you're present in the changes that's happening with you personally and professionally, I had become a mom and I wanted something a little bit more flexible for that stage and era of my life.
right.
And then the pandemic happened and it was
Yeah.
just so many changes happening. And so that's how I kind of transitioned into nonprofit education because I was looking for a little bit more flexibility to support the kind of mom I wanted to be.
Right.
And so insert the AmeriCorps programs, insert the post-secondary access organizations. And so, yeah, it's just been a ripple effect of just unorthodox. My life is like one big unorthodox,
Wow.
I guess, area of success, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so, yeah, that's just how I got into it. It was just like, oh, there's this. And then it was something else. And then it was
Yes.
something else. And so,
Wow.
just really just being open to that sort of,
Allowing,
yeah, allowing and
allowing,
acceptance of
accepting.
this is what is happening for me. I'm not
Yes.
gonna reject it. I'm gonna lean into it. So yeah,
Lean into it. You said something that just it touches me that I talk to people all the time. We talked about it's the root. It's the root. It's inside of you. It's built inside
absolutely.
of you. And it's one of those things that you cannot run away from. You
No,
cannot take a flight to another house.
no.
We cannot
As much as you may want to, yes.
right. It's inside of you. So you knew it from about how old that was in you, probably
I
when you
want
were
to
younger.
say probably about 5 or 6. I look
Wow.
at my son who is 6 and I look at his, dreams, the dreams I have for him, but also his ability to name what he wants to be for himself. And so to have that ability to kind of step in and navigate and to see and to hope and to live into the dream and to have the possibility of what it is that you want to become, it's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And you
Yeah.
also talked about mentorship because I
Mhm.
think that, like, I have a mentor right now,
Mhm.
though I'm a doctor and all that.
Mhm,
I think that that's something that people don't really understand the value of
mhm.
having a mentor or a coach. Can you speak a little bit into how having a mentor in your life has shaped who you are today?
Oh, absolutely. I'm the product of quality mentorship. I still am able to call on my mentors through different ebbs and flows of life. Personally, professionally, I am the beneficiary of great mentorship. I recognize that that is not something that everybody has access to. I
Mhm,
recognize that some people have gone through their own ebbs and flows of mentorship. I
mhm,
just think for me, authenticity, and we go
mm.
back to the root of my connectivity. I've always, for me, had this innate desire to map out and scope out. I'll place the ask. If the ask is not received, I get it. I understand. But that's not the end of my door because I have this grit and this desire to succeed by any means necessary. And
Wow.
so for okay, if that wasn't my door, okay. There's another door. There's plenty of successful black women out here. So if this is not my door, then I'm okay with that. But that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna succeed because this person doesn't have time to pour or they're already pouring into other avenues. I've had so many people tell me no. So many people have told me, especially successful women have told me, I'll never forget one young lady that I reached out to for mentorship was like, she said to me, basically, she said no in a very interesting way. She said, a
Wow.
lot of people wear mentorship like jewelry. So I don't know if you are because I'm successful or because you really think that I have something to offer you. That wasn't my door. I understand you have this high position. People are pulling on you. They're seeing the success. The same reason why I am wanting to get some insight and some guidance. But
Right.
I started also looking at my radius. And so I
Mm,
started looking at what I was connected to and then what I also deemed successful. And so
mm,
now that I'm in a position to mentor, people reach out to me for mentorship. And I'm
mhm.
like, me?
The table
I'm
turned.
I'm just like I'm in that space. So I try to be present even if I can't do
Right.
meetups like I could in certain seasons. I try to be accessible. I try to
Mhm,
speak their name
mhm,
as people
mhm,
have done for me. I may
mhm,
see my mentor in person once a year,
mhm.
if that. But she is forever, they are
Yeah,
forever speaking my name. They're
yeah,
buying my book. They're
yes,
posting about buying my book. They're giving
right.
me speaking engagements. They're making
Mhm.
sure I'm compensated for it.
Yes.
But it is being able to show up and deliver
Mm,
on demand the way that, I've been, postured and positioned
right,
to. And so, yeah, for mentorship, I do. I recognize that it's not something that has worked for everyone. But for me, I try to pour into those spaces. I
right.
try to not miss birthdays. Even
Mm,
if I try to have thought and creativity. I try because they're busy and they are highly successful. When I go in for the ask, I try to be very direct because these are very direct women.
yep,
I try to be very direct in the ask. I try not to
mm,
beat around the bush. And if they
yep,
have the ability to help, then they help. If they don't, or they have the ability to offer feedback, they do. And so for me as Erica, that has been a lane that has worked for me. But for the three that said yes, please know that there were 10 who said no and that
oh,
they didn't
wow,
have capacity. And I could not allow that to knock my confidence. I
right.
just had to look at it from a framing perspective that,
Mm.
okay, that's not my door. And
Amazing,
so,
guys.
yeah,
Amazing. She had no several, several times. She said it's the greed, it's the tenacity, it's the zeal to make
absolutely.
it happen. I'm sure that kept
Absolutely.
you going. So mentorship is good. Take that down, please. And
Mhm.
even they said no, do not give up. Keep knocking, keep
Yeah.
trying. Just like her,
Yeah.
you will get
That
someone
person
there.
may not be it, but it may be somebody in close proximity who has relational success.
Right.
Right? It
Exactly.
may not be Issa Rae says often to network across and don't
Mm-hmm.
network up. So the
Yes.
person that is to your left and to your right that is in close proximity,
Mm-hmm.
also evaluate what we deem as success, right? What
Mm,
we deem as wealthy, what we
yes.
deem as
Yep.
possible.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
So you have worked across post-secondary access, workforce development, and leadership, right? What connects all those together? What are the differences and how can you connect all those together?
So I think with post-secondary access, we're in a very unique time in the world. Children need resources. we are Black and brown communities will forever need resources. And so when we take into socioeconomic backgrounds and statuses into question, then that automatically limits the resources, right? There are things that are, I don't even like to call them. It was a study that said don't call communities of color at risk, call them at promise, because they
Mm,
have the promise and possibility to become their highest versions of selves, healthy, whole communities, right? And
mhm,
there are, for every drug stricken corner you see, there's also a big mama. There's also aunties that's
mhm.
making sure, cousins that
Yep.
are mentors in that three
Yes.
flat building, making sure that the kids get to school, making sure that they don't block the school number. And
Mhm.
so it's a thing of access, right? So when we think about post secondary access, the word is in it. It's access,
Yeah.
whether you are going into a trade, right? Right now, a lot of schools, school districts are pushing trades, but they're also not putting the full framing around trades, right?
Mhm.
They're also not explaining to our children the red tape that it
Mhm.
comes with being a part of a union, right? You can
Right.
go and you can be a plumber, but what's the difference in being a neighborhood plumber and getting into a union that will allow you to be a plumber in one of these Fortune 500 buildings downtown Chicago? Right. These are
Mhm.
not the conversations, and most of them are ran by white men
Mhm.
who are in this, and it's a lot of red tape for people like us who will
Right.
not be allowed or
Mm.
have to work twice or three times as hard to even be in position. So post-secondary access isn't just going to college, and
Yep.
even the framing that it is being a resource, it is providing resources. And sometimes that access is a simple conversation.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes the access is a reroute to say, what is your plan? I'm not beating you down to say that your future cannot exist, but
Mm.
what framing do we need to provide in order to set you up for the best possible success? Is that 2 year, 4 year? Is that straight 4 year? Is that HBC? Do you
Oh,
know
wow.
about is that military, right? Because it will fund what you eventually want to be, right? So
Right.
it is putting the framing, because I don't also like to use the word realistic. I feel like that is such a dream killer kind of word when you're talking to especially high school students who are excited about the
Right.
next step.
Yes.
And then you're coming as this fully functional adult that
Mhm.
has experienced life. And it's like,
Right.
let me rain on your parade. No.
Let me
So,
hear. Wow.
but it happens, right? You get these, and I love my educators down, but they're in these positions for years, sometimes in the same school for years, and they don't mean to be Debbie Downers, but that's what they
That's
show
what
up
it is.
as.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's that post secondary access is just that. It is, and I believe that my special gifting, what I've been called to do on the earth, is to be a resource, to be a connector, to be a network, a utopia of connectedness to uh, expose students, no matter
Mm.
what facet that I'm working in, to the resources that's in their sphere. Right. So if it means telling parents who make under $60,000 who kids have great GPAs, you can qualify for these particular schools in the state of Illinois and you don't have to come out of pocket for anything.
Wow.
Right. It is just making sure that they know, because every school doesn't have a college and career coach. Every school doesn't have a post secondary manager. Every school doesn't have senior seminar. Every school doesn't
Wow.
have quality guidance counselors. Every school doesn't have the same resources. So when you come into that sphere and then you know what makes you you, you're
Wow.
able to operate in it. And so I believe that through that functionality, I found what we like to call my zhuzh, my
Yes.
thing, and to exist in that lane. So even in nonprofit, right? So that's post secondary access.
Mhm.
But in my role in nonprofit as
Mhm.
senior manager of recruitment, that was a grassroots position because I saw when I stepped into the role, we were trying to recruit students to serve in the AmeriCorps, right? And so we had all of these schools of need and communities of color, Black and brown communities, and we were
Mhm.
put there to help them. And so when it came to recruiting, I'm like, are we recruiting people from the same communities? Because there are success stories in these
Wow.
same communities. So it took strategies of going to the Gary Comer
Wow.
Center, right? And saying, like, hey, what are the opportunities that we have? Going to local Black owned coffee shops, just going
Mhm.
back to the basis to say, hey, I know I come in here to get coffee, right? So I know that there are other young professionals, Black professionals, who
Mhm.
may be coming in here who cousin may need something. They may need something. And so the benefits were great. And I'm like, somebody, other people that look like us needs
Yep.
to take advantage of it. So like that intersection for me, it always goes to innovation and impact. And
Mm.
when I came out of that, I think working in education through the post-secondary
Right.
access and
Mhm.
then going over to nonprofit and
Mhm.
even being a director of secondary success,
Amazing.
it was I need to do purpose to impact work.
Yes. That's
What does that look like?
yes.
How can I create framing around purpose to impact work? And
Mhm.
I didn't just allow it to be my professional self, then thus creating Black Mama Dreams because I'm a resource, because that's what I feel like I've been put on the earth to do, just creating opportunities for more of those sorts of things. I know I just said a lot,
No,
but I
but
hope I
that
answered
is
your
that is
question. Yeah.
yes, you did, and you did, and that's why we are here for people to learn from people like you. It's very motivative. It's very
Thank you.
encouraging because I know there are people on the other end struggling and trying to find themselves and going through phases like what you're going through. I would love for you to explain some of, I'm sure you dealt with some challenges, some roadblocks, and give us some example of those and maybe how you dealt with those because I know there are people that really want to go out there and create impact to their community, but they're meeting challenges and they're giving up and there are roadblocks. Can you just tell us some of them and how you made it
For
through those?
sure. I think one of the biggest things that's true in this season of my life is I was laid off in May.
Oh, wow.
And I said, man, I wrote a book about creative disruption. And then my life just started going crazy. And I say that to say that I had to lean into learning how to hone my strengths. Throughout that time, I had a close circle of people who knew, but I wasn't, what word am I looking for? I wasn't worried, right?
Mm,
I had enough resolve, even though at times there were days that did shake me.
of course.
But I did have a faith in myself.
Mm,
And I remember saying, like, God would never play me. He
man.
knows I have this son and we
Mm,
are accustomed to a certain kind of life and living.
yes.
I have these certain networks and certain communities
Mm,
that I belong to that
mhm,
they won't let me fail.
mm,
But there is something that I am meant to learn. So I started leaning into self. I
mhm,
looked at the opportunities for how I can show up in the earth in my personal and professional self as influence, right? What avenues did I need to reshape for impact?
mhm,
What needed to be true in this season of my life? And what could I give up? What I ended up, it was a lot of give and take. And so what I
yes.
ended up giving up, right, when end up taking a role for the Thornton Township School District 205 as a transition specialist,
Mhm,
which is the role I'm currently in now, the give and take was I was working remote for 4.5 years, which meant
mhm,
that my son and I had a routine that we were
right,
accustomed to. I can drop him off, I can pick him up, I can be up there for every assembly. It was just the things, right, that we both had grown accustomed to.
right.
The give and take was going on site for a job now because it's 100% on site means that
Oh,
I have to lean into the village in a way that I didn't want to, quite simply put, I didn't want to.
yes.
And
That's
so
a big change.
it's a big change, and not just for him, it's a big change for me. It's a
Mhm,
big change for my comfortability. It's a
mhm,
big change for my structure.
mm,
And so that was one of the things that was like, okay, what can I let go of? And I had to let go of the framing for this season for such a time as this. I had to let go of all the work. I've never worked in a suburban school district before. All my work has been city facing, Chicago facing. Now
mhm,
I'm in the suburbs. So how do these students need to be supported?
mm,
Where is there a lack that they don't have? How can I bring my resources out
mhm,
here to show up
right.
and have the same impact that I had when I was working in the city? And so those are certain things. But throughout the summer being laid off, I just did this deep dive. I remember talking to my best friend, Asia, and she was giving me strategies, right? Helpful strategies to say, just to keep me encouraged.
Mm,
Design your dream role. Design what it would look like. What's the mission? What's the
brilliant.
purpose?
Yes.
what is your dream salary? And
Mm,
so all those exercises, all those strategies really encouraged me
mm,
when I was letting go
mm.
of not being in control,
Right.
leaning into ease, but still knowing that there was like this innate
Mhm,
superpower in
mhm.
me that was finding its way to this new version of me.
Right. Wow.
And so, yeah.
Love it. I love it. You said you believed in yourself and you believed
Hmm.
in the superpower that is inside of you. And you
Absolutely.
took that time, the challenging time was like a growth moment for you. It was like a reset, a growth moment,
Absolutely.
finding yourself. And I can't wait for us to talk about the book, Creative Disruption. So,
Yes.
what inspired you to write this book?
Well, I did a TED talk in my alma mater, Columbia College, Chicago, last April. So April 2024. And that was the title. And so everybody asked me, they were like, are you gonna workshop this? Like you did so well. We want to see where you're going with it. And so from there, I was like, I don't want to workshop it. I was like, that's not where I want to do. And I said, I want to turn it into a book. And so the book, it then became like the TED Talk was open to anybody, but the book is focused on millennials in the workplace because I received so many DMs on the variety of social media outlets that say, hey, I saw the pivot.
Mm,
What can you like? I see you, creating noise. I see you doing these pivots. Like I need help. Can you help me? And so when you get so many of those, then you start to see like what your lane of expertise is, what
mm-hmm.
people come to you for. And
Right.
so I realized that my peers, my colleagues, even cross functionally trust the way that I move. And so
Mm,
they look at me like a leader just by position and the expertise that I
expertise.
hold.
The
And
expertise.
so thus creating the books, Creative Disruption, 7 Effective Strategies for Millennials in the Workplace. Workplace culture is changing. I have been in workplaces where employers made me feel bad for asking for what I felt like I was worth. And then I got into another organization, and that organization gave it to me through conversations with mentors
Right.
at each juncture where I would go into different positions and I would come out making more money. They would tell me what to ask for in the interview, include that they'll pay for a fellowship, include that they will cover the Harvard business,
Oh, wow.
course.
Amazing. Yes. Yes.
And so just knowing where and how to advocate, I understand that a lot of millennials are not, and so it depends on the industry, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't feel empowered to ask the question. They don't feel empowered to have career conversations. And yes, it does vary per industry, but there are still things that you have a right to ask for. And
Wow.
so setting them up, championing them, being their workplace bestie, saying, you have the power, you have the tools, go and do it, go and get it. You deserve the thing. And also, if you're not showing up in the workplace the way that you need to, then don't ask for the thing.
You have
You
to
know
have
how you're
you have
showing
to
up.
have the performance and the productivity. Yeah.
You have to. You have to. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, that is what creative disruption is all about. It is setting my peers up, setting my colleagues up for the best possible success that they can attain in their field and just grow and get gains, and for us to come together and continue to build our network and
Mhm.
what that looks like. And so, yeah,
I
I'm
cannot
very
wait at
proud
the
of
end
it.
of the show. Guys, hold on. At the end of this, she's going to tell us how to get
Yes.
that book because I need
Yes.
that book to get it. So
Absolutely.
what's the message you want the millennials to take away about leadership in today's workplace? If you have to give a message to the millennials, what
Yeah.
message will you give it to them?
My message to millennials in the workplace for leadership is to trust yourself, to trust your voice, and know when it's time to pivot. Workplace culture is changing. They already say that millennials, we not loyal to what's not loyal to us. And that's true. But I think that the power that we have is innovation and ability. And we know how to make that work, and we can create opportunities for ourselves while waiting on the next thing. And so I would say trust yourself. You know what you bring to the table.
Mhm.
You know what you have a right to ask for. You're too young. We're too young to be complacent in a thing for the sake of safety and a paycheck. And
Exactly.
so our ability to trust our gifts, our
Mhm.
talents, what we were
Mhm.
put on this earth to do Deep
Mhm.
down inside, we know. We know what we
Yes.
offer, the spaces that we reside in. We know what
Mhm.
we offer
Mhm.
community, right? Like
Mhm.
I said, for me, it is being a resource. So trust that. Trust your voice. You know what you see. You know what you offer. Speak on it. If it's in a
Mhm.
career conversation, if it is in a career growth conversation with managers, depending on your work functionality, if it's a people manager, if
Mhm.
it's a direct manager, the one who leads your day to day work,
Mhm.
whatever that is, name the thing. If there are biases, if there are things that don't work that don't ground you in supporting the success that you need to attain, speak on it. And when all else fails, get comfortable in the dance called the pivot. It is
I love it.
when you don't embrace it, it
Mhm.
can be such a scary thing because we get in a role, we like the role, we understand the role, we understand how to manipulate the role,
Mhm.
we know the things, we do just enough in the role.
Right.
But because workplace culture is shifting,
Mhm.
especially for millennials,
Mhm.
especially mid-management millennials,
Yep.
and you're seeing, we're going to get drinks with our colleagues and
Mhm.
over lemon drops. We're like, wait, your job lets you do this fellowship? My job told me that it wasn't available for
Right.
millennials and mid-management.
Exactly.
So we're understanding, we're talking to each other. We're
Yes, yes.
in programs, we're going to class reunions and something like
Mhm.
we're around each other. We're
Right.
engulfed in the culture and we also live in a time where there is LinkedIn, there is threads,
Mm,
there is Instagram. Like
it's a
we're
lot.
posting about the things and we're naming the things, right?
Mhm.
So with that being the norm, getting comfortable in the dance called the pivot and
Mhm.
knowing when it's time to get up out of something
Yes.
and not necessarily being
Yes.
asked out of a role,
Exactly.
but
Yes.
knowing, and I think that's my thing, right? When
Yes.
I look at
Yes.
even the complacency that I had in the role that I was laid off in, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, just let me get it another year. You see the changes, you see things happening, right? But then you're like, dang,
So what will
I
you
saw that.
say to people want to do that? They're scared.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't have a job. Because I talk to some people that they don't want to be there. And the culture is really bad. And maybe for some reason they look different or whatever the case may be. They're not accepted. They are their peers. They don't have the
Mhm.
opportunity. They just, they're scared. I can't leave. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to take care of my
Mhm.
family? And they just stay there until they're told to go away.
Yeah, for sure.
In that moment, what advice do you have for someone like that that is really waking up feeling really anxious to go to work?
Yeah.
And they feel like they have to go because they feel like they have no option.
Well, one, I would say find your center, whatever the center looks like for you. I can't tell you to quit that job because I don't know
Mhm.
what your financial situation is. I don't know what the dependency is. I didn't do that, right? So
Mhm.
one thing I'm never going to do, the authentic version of me, I didn't quit my job. I was the person I like stability, right?
Mhm.
And so even in that, I didn't do that. So I'm never going to do something that I'm not going to tell you to do something that understanding when you have responsibilities, right? That you have to lean into that. No, I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say find your center. I'm going to say look into opportunities to get an executive coach that can help you map out how to make a successful
Okay, let's talk about big mama dreams. From
Black mama
everything
dream.
you've talked about, community is clearly super important to
Mhm.
you. So from everything you're doing, just talk a little bit about the Black Mama Dreams.
Yes, Black Mama Dreams. Yes, it's a
Yeah.
scholarship. Yes.
Yes.
It's a scholarship that I created because I want to be remembered um for something greater than myself. That's why I didn't name it after
Mhm.
myself. And so I am a Black mama. I feel like another version of my purpose was birthed through becoming a mom. It's my greatest gift
Mm.
to the earth. And so Black Mama Dreams is that scholarship is an answer. It's a resource. I'm talking about what my special gifting is, and it is being a resource. And so, to that end, Black Mama Dreams is a no strings attached gift to say, whatever you need it for, mama, we got you. And so, you can use it. You need groceries, that's use it for groceries. You need to pay a light bill, you need to pay a cell phone bill, use it for that. You need to buy the kids, so you need to buy yourself some clothes. You want to have a photo shoot with the money, whatever you feel like you need to do to support, whether, what you choose to do with it is what you choose to do. The winner last year, she chose to pay for a professional development course for herself. So it is whatever they decide to do. But yes, that is my gift.
That is amazing. That
And
is so
that's what I want
amazing.
to be remembered. One of the things I want to be remembered.
That's amazing. So I just want to go back and tell our listeners tonight that, and I want to ask you this question. What do
Mhm.
you want to be remembered for?
Mm.
Right? That's the message for us tonight. She wants to be remembered for something. And that's why we are here. I'm going to ask myself this question after the show. The question I have for you from what Erica is saying is, what do you want to be remembered for? And just by looking yourself in the mirror and asking that question is going to make you start thinking, and you never know what will come out of that. So that is just,
Absolutely.
you're doing such an amazing work for yourself, for the
Oh, thank you.
community as a mom. It's just super amazing. Now,
Thank you.
you are a speaker, right? How is it? What was the experience as being a leader and a storyteller? How did you, because I know a lot of speakers they come from different, they're diverse in whatever they're doing.
Mhm.
How can you link that leadership and storytelling? How did you put that together to give your amazing speech?
Real life experience. That's truly it. I always write from a real place, whether it's me blogging about sisterhood, whether it's talking about millennial. I wrote a book on millennial leadership because that's what's true for my life right now. I might write a book next year about motherhood. It really just depends on when I sit down, when I say I have something to say, what's the most authentic. I could tell you that the book I thought I was going to write this year was not the book that I actually ended up publishing. But because I tried to be so centered in self, and I write from an authentic place, no matter what it is. Like I said, if I'm talking about it, if I'm giving a speech to high school grads and I'm telling them to look forward and propel, I'm thinking about my 17-year-old self, but I'm also thinking about my current 34-year-old self. And I'm like,
Um,
this is what I needed to hear, but also experiencing the ebbs and flows of life. Here's what is coming, right? So it never comes from a fake lens. It always comes from an authentic look at the way life is, and I try to speak for that. As Erica, try to let authenticity lead the way. If
yeah,
it's not rooted in being authentic to who I am, then why am I doing it? So I'll
yes.
never say something. I'll never be involved in any type of organization or person, place, or thing that does not lead with authenticity for me.
That's amazing. And that's the kind of leadership
Thank you.
that we need. That's the kind of leadership that we need in this day and
Thank you.
age. Someone that is extremely authentic.
Mhm.
And if you're authentic and you lead with integrity, I'm telling you,
Thank you.
you will have followers, right?
Oh,
You would definitely have, because there are a lot of leaders out there that don't have followers.
yeah.
But this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
coming from a good place with a good intent. I always said that your intent, why you're doing the something, means a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes, it tells you the why. It's just super amazing. So, what advice will you give to other professionals who want to lead boldly, right? And still honor their family and their community? Like they want to do it the best
Yeah.
in their role
Mhm.
and they still want to bring it back to their family and their
Mhm.
community. And the world as it is very diverse. How
Mhm.
can they do that authentically? Because I know that's how you lead.
Yeah. I would say respect the boundaries you put in place.
Mm,
I think that's the thing, right? Because when you show up in so many different facets, when you are stretched so many different ways, you can get overwhelmed. You can get drained. You can start to not feel like your impact when you are in a lot of different spaces, something is going to lack. Some part of some organization you're connected to is going to lack. Some friendship is going to lack. A work project is going to fall through the cracks. Like something is going to lack. You cannot be on 100 at every single thing. Like it's impossible. So with that said, respect the boundaries that you put in place. I think a thing about authenticity, one thing that I'm leaning into in this season of my life is letting my no be my no and let my yes be my yes. And that's something that I tell my son, mean what you say and back it up with it. If you say yes, let it be an emphatic, excited yes. If
yes.
you say no, stand 10 toes down in the no and let it, it's unmovable,
Mhm.
unshakably no,
Right.
because you've thought about what your answers are. You have
Hmm.
not given a
Hmm.
quick answer.
Be
And so I
intentional.
try to, yeah, so I try to lead with that.
Mhm.
So my advice would be respect the boundaries you put in place.
Amazing.
One of the things for me is closing my computer down because I don't want him to just see a mom who is just hyper connected to work, 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 work. As a single Black mom, that's not a narrative that I'm trying to push forward where
Mhm.
he just sees me working, work, work. Now, if I need, and that's not healthy for me because what does my self care look like?
Right.
Right? If I'm working in front of the computer throughout the day, I have some freelance projects that I have to get done and then I'm coming home to do X, Y, and Z, and I still no, that's not the when he sees his mama, I don't need him to just be like, she was in front of that computer all day long. And
Wow.
so reframing what my boundaries look like and
Love
staying
it.
10 toes down with it. If I'm not talking on the phone during this time, it's because I'm talking with my son. It's because, or I might not be doing nothing. I might be ironing, but I want to be on the phone because I don't want him. If I told him it wasn't gonna be phone time for me.
Mhm.
I gotta stand 10 toes down in it.
Right, right, right.
And so just respect the boundaries you put in place.
That's amazing. And she has talked about so many things we can learn from, right? She put in a little bit parenting skills over there. You cannot
The
tell your
overlaps,
child to
yes.
do what you are not doing. You cannot
Absolutely.
say put your phone down and when you don't put your phone down. So that is just super amazing because I used to be a single mom in the past and I believe that being a single mom, you have to be very, very intentional,
You
especially
have to.
I had a son when you're raising boys, right?
Mhm.
Because they're the next leaders of their homes and they're now stuck with me, their mom. So you have to practice good parental skills and
Absolutely.
teach them by example. Don't show them
Absolutely.
all your frustration or blame the dad for stuff and make
Yep.
all this negativity like what she's saying. She is
Mm-mm.
practicing self-care, self-love, and the baby is seeing it. And that is
Absolutely.
building her up as he's growing up, knowing that
Absolutely.
self-care, self-love is that's just amazing, Erica, what you
Mhm.
just said.
Thank you.
Absolutely love what you just said. And among everything, as we are wrapping up right now, before we get your
Okay.
contact information, among
Mhm.
everything you've talked about, what is that thing that excites you the most?
Well, I mean, my honest answer is gonna be motherhood. It's been my greatest teacher. It's been the most humbling thing I've ever experienced in my life. The fact that I get to love and hold and nurture my son, the fact that I get to see his little mind just growing and developing and his just quest for learning, and to have the heartbeat of God. That's just so important to me. I was just telling my sister the other day, I don't know how people can become parents and it doesn't change them for the better. He's is a mirror to me.
Mm,
And so because
yes.
of that, I have an obligation and I have a
Mhm,
responsibility to lead with the best. Yes, I will fail. I will fail
mhm,
sometimes. I'm not going to get the mark.
yeah.
Sometimes my answers are going to be short. I'm going to
Mhm,
be tired, but I'm going to fail forward. I'm going to keep pressing. I'm going to keep pressing toward the mark because I know that his calling, my calling,
yeah.
motherhood is a gift that everyone doesn't get a chance to experience. And I'm so honored that God placed him
Amen.
as a ministry assignment for me.
Amen. Yes.
And so yeah,
Yes.
that excites me the most. And then
Yes.
outside of that, being a financial and active member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated,
Yes.
I am learning the ebbs and flows.
Mhm.
I'm a little baby Neo, so I am learning the ebbs and flows of what it means to be a distinguished member
Mm,
of this great organization
yes.
and how to hold the mission of our
Mhm.
22 founders forward and just add something great to their legacy.
Right.
That excites me. And just learning, just sisterhood excites me.
Yes.
Good food excites me. His music excites me. My family excites me.
You're
Just
just a happy
laughter.
person. You got
I
intentionally
try to
happy.
be. I
Yes.
try to be. Now, on the wrong day, somebody might be like, sis is not happy today.
Yes.
But for the most part, I really do try to curate
Yes.
an enjoyable life experience for myself, even if
Right.
I'm just sitting on the couch watching a different world. That's
Exactly.
happy for me. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Mhm.
And all of us have those days. It's just being aware when your triggers are coming out. It's just being
Absolutely.
aware of your blind spots. Like, we all have them.
Absolutely.
bad days, but it's just being conscious and
Absolutely.
rationally aware when that is happening and intentionally knowing how to manage that. For before we get how to get your books and how to
Mhm.
get your stuff, for someone listening who feels like they're stuck, I know you said you are feeling forward, you don't take no for an answer, you pursue with
Mm-mm.
tenacity, you have the greed. So for someone listening who feels stuck or fearful about pursuing their bigger dreams, what's the first step you would encourage them to take?
The first step I would encourage them to take is to remember their why.
Mm.
Oftentimes, we get overwhelmed by the seriousness of roles of life, misunderstandings. I've had to censor and recenter and reground in my why when sometimes the people of the work got on my nerve. Or I've had to recenter in my why where I felt like my trajectory was off and why I got into something, it's not
Mhm.
feeling, I'm feeling stuck. I mean, I'm feeling the urge to get the dance of the pivot going. So yeah, get grounded in your why. Remember your why, and then let that fuel you. Let that lead the way, because I'm sure that it will land you in the right direction to start formulating the steps to get you reignited about your purpose.
Amazing. Each time you remember your why is like another fuel or another energy just comes right back to make you to keep going.
Yes, and fight for that stillness. That's the thing. As a person who used to be afraid of stillness, fight for your stillness, because in that quiet, in that stillness, it will remind you of your why. So yeah, get
Can you
grounded in that.
expatiate on the stillness so
Yeah,
that
the
they
quiet. I
understand?
mean, a lot of us are afraid of the quiet. I'm annoyed. I still don't go to sleep without the TV on. So getting still, getting quiet, that's what this summer represented for me. Not a lot of noise, a lot of mornings letting the sun hit my face, a lot of just relishing in the moment, a lot of this sort having conversations. Even if as I'm trying to develop what's next for me, having conversations
With yourself.
and being okay with the uncertainty
Yes. Yes.
of it all. Because in the uncertainty, it's still going to lead me to where I need to go. And it might be birthing something that
Mhm.
is coming down the line.
Yes.
So I might not understand it in this present moment. It may not be for 2025,
Right.
but at 2035, I'll be like, oh,
This is it.
that's
It
what
all
that was
comes
for.
together. Yes. Yes.
It
I
all works
tell
together for the
people
good. Yes.
every single day I spend at least 30 minutes with myself.
Yeah, you have to. You absolutely have to. You absolutely have to. So yeah, it's a very eye-opening and awakening situation to just be still, be still. So yeah. Mhm.
Amazing. So how can they contact you, get your books and all that information?
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram at authentically_Erica. I'm on Facebook, Erica J. Linton, LinkedIn, Erica J. Linton, my website, ericalinton.com. And you can get my book on Amazon, on Barnes and Noble. If you're in Chicago, two black owned bookstores, excuse me, that carry it. So yeah, pull up, support your girl.
Yes, and just her name is on the screen in case you forget. Just Google it and you will definitely
Yes.
find her. And please, because I need to read that book for myself. So,
Yes.
Erica, with
Thank you.
every single episode, we always end with this question, right? What is one positive outcome? I know you've already, like, when I asked this question by the end of the
Hmm.
show, you've already talked about so many of them. We
Yes.
just always
Yes.
end the show like this. What is
Hmm.
one positive outcome you are proud of, and what did it take you to get there? I know you have so many.
I'll say my book. I'm very proud of the fact that I did it. A lot of people sit and they wait and they don't trust the timing of their own life. They may not have the resources to produce a quality, quantitative, some type of thing they can put into the earth. Tangible, that's the word.
Mhm.
Tangible resource on the earth. And I did that. And so I'm very proud of that. And what it took just saying yes. It
Mm.
took being still and formatting what was a TED talk into actionable strategies that people could learn something from. So yes, that's what I'm most
Um,
proud of.
Guys, we have to get that book, right? We are getting that book tonight. I am getting the book tonight because I know I need it. I know you guys need it too. So Thank you all so much.
Thank
What
you.
an amazing conversation. I have learned a lot. This is a topic that with the nonprofit and I am not in right, I'm in the healthcare world. So I have learned a lot and I cannot wait to go to our website, get the book and learn some more. So thank you all. Follow, share, send this link to everyone that have the heart
Hmm.
to help the community. Okay. Thank you
Well,
guys. Goodbye. My God, that was so amazing.